You won't believe this. Bricklink has just revealed the BDP Series 9 finalists. And honestly, my predictions weren't off at all. Three of my top 20 actually made it into the final selection, and I'm genuinely thrilled about that. But what I'm even more thrilled about? No castles this time. With the absolute flood of castle submissions this season, this was my biggest wish. And it finally came true. Now, on to the finalists. Woodbrick Fried Depot, one of my personal top 5, absolutely deserves this spot. It's insanely detailed, looks fantastic from every single angle, and is a total gift for train lovers. Then we have the gorgeous Sleepy Dragon Inn, which was also in my top 20. I love the vibe of different faction warriors hanging out, dancing, relaxing. Such a fun concept, and I'm glad it made it. Fisherman's Village was the crowd favorite, and even though I personally preferred a few other designs, it was still in my top 20, so this one feels well earned. Now, the Wild West Blacksmith, I honestly didn't expect it to land in the top 5. I revisited it even after the announcement, but for me personally, there were stronger contenders that deserved the spot more. Still, it might appeal to specific collectors. But the one that completely threw me off is the Pumpkin Patch. With so many stunning cafes and incredibly unique small builds in this series, I quite don't understand this choice. It feels like something one could recreate with a couple of basic Halloween polybags. If you want a full rundown of every submission from castles to inns, trains, cafes, and all the wonderful quirky bells, make sure to check out the rest of this video. I had mistakenly scheduled the video for the wrong date, so it never went up. But I'm uploading it now along with the final selection. And do tell me what you think of the top 5. I would genuinely love to hear your take.
I started with the medieval themed designs since they completely dominate this series, along with pirates, Vikings, and other similar builds. I love the colors of Royal Nest, but the overall look feels familiar. The Star Fortress instantly reminded me of a historical fort back in India. Driftwood Keep caught my eye with its almost human like silhouette. Hopefully, I'm not imagining that. And Squid Island Castle is such a fun twist to the castle build. And both the Island Castle and Hydra Shipyard come packed with features. Even the White Shark's Imperial Prison stands out thanks to its unusual design. Honestly, there are so many medieval builds this time that if none of them make it to the top 5, it might completely change the direction of upcoming series. Island Keep is another solid design, but the one that brings much needed flair is the Northern City Gates. The fortress also puts a unique spin on the castle building, and though Crooked Tower is interesting, the showstoppers here are the Viking Longhouse and the surprisingly brilliant castle faction shields. King's Mansion looks lovely, but leans more modern, and the variety of ships this time is impressive, but we have had ship winners before. As someone who is not a hardcore casual fan, the sheer number of medieval entries honestly overwhelmed me. Treasure Cove is another fun one with all four sides opening up. Emerald Abyss is a total gem with stunning colors and thoughtful design choices. The Forgotten Tower has darker tones that I really liked, and Watchers of the Midnight Sea is another standout with its emerald palette and beautiful curves. At this point, keeping track of what I have covered feels like a full workout plan. It's tiring. Let's move ahead. Serpent Ruin and Octopus Gate, both by the same designer, are very refreshing. There are also plenty of griffins, a nicely done town hall, and the incredibly detailed Wreckstone. And just like that, we are 183 designs down. And thus, I have arrived at four of my favorite medieval belts. And let's take a quick look at these four. Emerald Abyss is so intricate, dark, moody, and loaded with insane detailing. There are shooting cannons, escape doors, working chains, a hanging shark, and so many rooms hidden behind removable panels. There isn't a single dull corner. The roof is packed with archers, weapons, and brilliant shaping. You could spend hours exploring it and still keep discovering secrets. At least that's what I feel when I look at this set. Next up, we have Legends of Wreckstone. It's another mammoth build with 4,000 pieces, rockwork, tentacles, an aerial prototype, a ship, and a sea monster. It has everything. With the arrival of the new Griffin and Kraken factions, many designers clearly wanted to give those factions a home. The lore behind this build is fantastic, the interiors are packed, and everything works. Cranes, gates, modular sections. The designer's effort shows in every image of this build. Next up, we have the northern city gates, bringing in warm browns, a windmill, vegetation, and touches of aqua. The structure still resembles standard castles, and the interiors are minimalistic, but the mood is happy. Instead of prisons and battles, this one gives us festivals, theaters, and celebrations. It feels like a joyful kingdom, something fresh and original. Fourth, we have Driftwood Keep, again with that unmistakable minifigure like silhouette. It's beautiful, full of functionality, and uses a lovely color palette. As someone who isn't a Castle fan, choosing between these feels impossible. So I secretly hope the selectors struggle too and skip medieval builds altogether this time. Castle fans, please don't be mad. I'm just being honest. Two other standouts are the medieval Sleepy Dragon Inn and the Viking Shipyard. The shipyard is nearly 3,000 pieces with an incredibly detailed roof and an impressive ship. Interiors are fully modular with a runestone workshop, attic storage, and a great minifigure lineup. This set is exceptional. The Sleepy Dragon Inn brings multiple factions together to rest and mingle. The curved roof is gorgeous, the musician and story elements add the charm, and the walls open up cleverly. The turntable dance mechanism is pure genius. Spin one trunk piece on the ground floor, and a chain of elements begins moving. It's delightful. Let's discuss the two mid sized designs I like. The Viking Longhouse has striking exterior detailing, a ship with brick built sail. The interiors are minimal but effective, and there is also a charming stone chimney with smoke. And the castle shields? I'd buy that set instantly as home decor. They are incredibly accurate and absolutely beautiful. With 436 designs, naturally, plenty did not impress me as much. Please, I'm so sorry. Some feel unfinished, some look like replicas of existing official sets, and others, like the planes, pagodas, and basic city vehicles, are underwhelming. There are quite a few sets that feel inspired from the existing ones. A few dioramas lack impact, and the builds like Coffee Machine, Nutcracker, and Emotions feel bit amateurish. Pumpkin patches can easily be built from Halloween polybags, and we already have a new Ottoman cottage coming soon in January. So, with around 106 designs completed and reviewed, just in my humble opinion, I moved on with roughly 289 designs covered. Next came another crowd favorite category: trains, locomotives, signal boxes, and stations. Approximately, we have 39 in total. We have trams, wooden trains, subways, depots, and one designer alone submitted 7 designs, which is impressive. A handful look fantastic, others are just okay, but my favorites fall within the 1,500 to 3,500 piece range. The first standout is Subway Square. I don't know what's the magic of this design, but every time I look at this, I feel like I need it in my Lego world. The colors, structures, storytelling, everything lands perfectly. The top buildings lift open, the subway can close, there is a janitor's office, access to sewers, a jewelry shop, a fountain, a vending machine, and even a rat. And this one actually includes a train, unlike some main stations. You know what I mean, right? The woodblock freight depot is another gem. Compact but stunning from every angle. With functional sliding doors, a goods vehicle, dogs, grilled windows, and thoughtful interior details, this is wonderfully polished without going overboard on the parts. I'd love to build this set. The signal overhead box and signal box plus station are also beautiful, though the earlier pics resonated with me more. Then there are nice but not quite there builds. Stone Age settlements feels like Flintstones inspired. Dystopic outpost looks like something out of a K drama, and some houses feel too similar to existing city sets. Grand Pavilion has botanical vibes, and Grand Victorian House gives me Friends Castle bed and breakfast vibes. Stationery store and the neon ways sound interesting, but they definitely need more upgrades. The countryside builds all look almost same as the existing ones, and the circus and the snow globes look interesting, but they definitely need refinement. The haunted builds are repetitive, and that brings our count to 381. Next came farmhouses, mills, forest homes, and fishing bills. This is one of my favorite categories. We have 8 of these sets to go over. Boat Warehouse is a charming little bill, and the interior is minimalistic. Next, there is Cozy Crop Farm. It looks gorgeous from the exterior, but I couldn't find much interior pictures on the website. Next, we have Blooming Bouquets, which is a florist shop with transport vehicle and lot of flowers. Though we have quite a few florist shop in the Lego City, I just thought of mentioning this adorable build. Next up, we have Forest Mill House, which again has a great exterior, but sadly, I could find only one pictures of the interiors. Next, we have Forest House in Fern Valley, which is a standout set. It feels like a modern cabin with a rustic edge. The interiors are loaded. There are hidden safes, secret storage, escape doors, telescope, camera, art setup. There is also a chess table, fireplace, and so much more. It looks cozy from every angle and it looks so refreshing from the front with all its transparent panels. Something I always wanted to build is countryside farmhouse. Home, animals, tractor, flowers, porch, and everything together. The interiors of this design include a kitchen, reading room, office, study area, bathroom, and more. It could use a bit of more greenery on the exteriors, but this set is still wonderful. I would love to build a set like this. Then we have Sustainable Fishing Company, which blew me away. The rustic dock, boat, supply vehicle, functional conveyor belt, storage system, box loading mechanism. It's humble but incredibly clever. One of the smartest designs in the entire series. I really want this set to be in the top 5. Let's hope. Next up, we have some really small builds like the cafes, houseboat, and a seaplane. Let's take a quick look at these. First up, we have the Surf Studs, which is a cute little build and looks impressive. And then we have the Sakura Cafe in a coffee cup shaped build, which is cute as well. The fresh lemonade stall has some fresh takes in using ice cream as lemons and that kite. We also have a houseboat with full interiors that looks amazing. The Jolly Dog has an amazing seaplane build which impresses. Also, another standout is the Sunrise Cafe with the sunflower build, decked rooftop, lot of interior details, and a garden cafe. The idea of using mobile phone to watch films is just genius. The fish and chips truck with its pelican, musician, flags, and all the exterior instantly made me smile. I'd buy this design in a heartbeat if it's made into a set. Next up, we have the Tortilla Tacos Cafe with that amazing taco build and loaded exteriors and interiors. The interior space is bit cramped, but with some modification, this cafe can be a great addition into any Lego city. And here comes some more sets I like. The winter cottage looks great from the exterior. It has a wonderful roof design that's so attractive, but the interiors feel rushed and minimalistic. Mad Scientist Lab is fun and another wonderfully designed set, but I'm personally done with spooky themes for now, considering Haunted House and Adventure Transylvania have been released in the recent past. Wildfire Lookout is a fresh and functional set and a refreshing addition to the forest or countryside themed lineup. It has so many working features and a great design, and anyone would love to have this set in their Lego world. And here comes one of the most loved sets from this series, which is Fisherman's Village, that is vibrant, colorful, and loaded with features as well as interiors. However, I think I'm the only one. who has a love it and don't love it kind of a vibe with this set. And that brings me to Working Windmill, a set I absolutely need in my Lego world. I have always been fascinated by the windmills of Europe, and Lego still does not have a truly great looking windmill. This design changes everything. It's packed with details, full of clever functionality, and it looks so gorgeous. For most of us in Asia, where real windmills are rare, this would be such a delightful addition. Staying in that same excitement, there is the Red Rose Hospital, our need for a fully functional hospital that fits right alongside modular buildings has been overdue for years, and this one finally delivers. With nearly 4,000 pieces, it includes every facility you would expect from a proper hospital. And then it adds even more. The designer has woven in a quirky little story featuring angels and the symbolic red rose. And honestly, I don't even want to get started on the sheer amount of play and functionality packed into this model. This is an outstanding design, no questions asked. In this next lot, we finally get some creative and refreshing designs after being completely flooded with castles and trains. The brick-built Sharklin Zeppelin looks fantastic, and the app development team instantly reminded me of the giant digital screens at Hong Kong Airport. The Terrier is another standout, so intricately detailed and absolutely perfect. It looks adorable. The full-size violin would be such a gorgeous display piece for any music lover in their living room. And the anatomy of human heart, I just love the idea of building organs out of Lego, and it's brilliantly executed. The Capsule Tower Hotel is another gem. So unique, so modern, and instantly transportive. This design takes me straight back to Japan and the capsule hotels I have stayed in over the years. I'd love to see this set being submitted under ideas teams so that one can rework on this and make some modifications to make this look absolutely perfect. This would be a wonderful addition to any Lego city. And then there is the wonderfully quirky, or I must say, quirkiest working toilet. A brick built toilet where you can literally unleash the flush. Finding that hidden bathtub inside the tank gave me Death Star vibes. And honestly, I relate to this one way too much. I mean, inspiration strikes, or we take the plunge sitting on the toilet for hours. At least that's definitely true for my husband. Days of reviewing, countless hours of editing, and almost 20 minutes of video to finally reach here. And now we are down to the last bunch, the space submission. To be honest, none of them really stood out to me except the exceptionally designed Space Cafe by Rock and Bricks, which we will look at the very end. And with that, we have reached a grand total of 430 designs, and I'm sure I still missed a few here and there, so sincere apologies for that. Now, here are my top 20 listed from highest to lowest piece count. Let's get started. First up, we have Legends of Rexstone, the Emerald Abyss, Driftwood Keep, the Fisherman's Village, Capsule Tower Hotel, the Red Rose Hospital, the Northern City Gates, Sustainable Fishing Company, Subway Square, Viking Shipyard, Countryside Farmhouse, Sleepy Dragon Inn, Woodrick Freight Depot, Vikings Longhouse, Castle Faction Shields, Working Windmill, Working Toilet, Tortilla Tacos, Fish and Chips Truck, Anatomy of the Human Heart. That's it. And finally, here are the top five sets I absolutely need in my Lego world. I honestly hope the castles are skipped this round just to encourage more diverse submissions in the future. But hey, that's just my humble opinion. Don't mind me. Still, if I had to pick one castle that truly shone among the rest, it would be the Emerald Abyss. And in terms of classic ideas, I would love to see some space themed sets from Lego, especially something like this Space Cafe. The colors, the angles, the interiors, everything is just so good. I actually want this particular set be submitted under the ideas theme because it deserves its own unique parts like a light blue helmet, a bright green torso, or even the classic light bluish gray helmet and air tanks we all are looking for. Or maybe a brand new spaceman. Yes, I know it's greedy, but a girl can hope. This design is the kind people would buy in a heartbeat. It's too good to release under BDP without special parts, and it deserves a long run on the shelves. The official selection will be announced soon, and I would genuinely love to hear your thoughts on this series. Thank you all so much for watching. See you in the next one. Take care.